Buzzin' Baseball here. Today I'm going to be doing my predictions for the National League Awards in 2025. I've already covered the American League. This is the continuation of that video. I know it's been a little while, but we're going to get on with the predictions. The brew of choice today is a Long Beach Beer Labs West Coast IPA called Hops. A little play on Jaws, but let's get right into it. We're not going to waste any time, all right? Did y'all just see that spray on me? Oh my God. Initial review on the beer. Honestly, it's a solid West Coast. I need to kind of branch out, do some other beers for the video. It definitely is different than the revision that I had last video. It's pretty mellow compared to, I thought the revision one was mellow. This one's extremely mellow. Long Beach Beer Labs, a local brewery in my area. I recommend you guys go check them out. I've never had a bad beer from there before. Yeah, sure, this one's not as hoppy, not as crazy as I like a West Coast, but it's pretty solid. I'm going to enjoy it, and we're going to talk about baseball. Let's get into it. Kicking off this video and finishing third in reliever of the year voting in 2025 for the National League, I have Raisel Iglesias of the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, this is a Braves team that was marred with injuries last season. Ronald Acuna, Spencer Strider, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies either missed the whole season or significant time, but they're all going to be back this year. Raisel Iglesias has been a pivotal part of this Braves team since he got traded there in 2022. I think he continues his dominance and improves. Fangraph projections have him improving, and I agree with them. He finishes third in the voting. Finishing second in the voting, I have Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals. This Cardinals team is an interesting one. I think they underachieve once again. I really don't think that they have a roster that can compete for that National League Central, where they're going to be competing with the Brewers, with the Cubs, and the Reds sneakily might do really well in that division. But Ryan Helsley has been a fantastic closer ever since he came up into the league. He enjoyed a phenomenal 2024 where he won reliever of the year in the National League. I think he continues his dominance, but I don't think he takes home the award. I also think that this is a key player that could get traded at the deadline, preseason, whenever. Some point in the year, Ryan Helsley is going to get traded. He's too good of an arm on a mediocre team. He's going to go to a contender. But if he stays in the National League, he's finishing second in the voting. Finishing first in the voting, I have Tanner Scott of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I promise this is zero bias going into this, but Tanner Scott has sneakily been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball over the past couple years, and he joins a Dodgers team that is a favorite to win the World Series by a pretty wide margin. He posted fantastic numbers last year, a 1.75 ERA and 72 innings pitched with a 28.6 K percentage. He joins the Dodgers on a 4-year, $72 million contract and looks to be the closer for this Los Angeles team that is hopeful to repeat as World Series champions. Originally, I had a guy like Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech, someone like that becoming the closer, and then the Dodgers go out there, swing, and grab Tanner Scott as well as Kirby Yates. But I think Tanner Scott really locks down the closer role, which the Dodgers haven't had a solidified closer since Kenley Jansen. I think Tanner Scott fulfills that role, and he's going to win the Delivery Man of the Year in 2025. Kicking off our Rookie of the Year voting for 2025, I have Matt Shaw of the Chicago Cubs finishing third in the voting. Matt Shaw is a guy that got drafted in the first round, 2023? And he's been a phenomenal prospect ever since. Craig Counsell recently came out, said that Matt Shaw is going to compete for that third base spot for them. Even if he doesn't lock down third, I think maybe he goes out there, plays second. But he's the definition of just a well-rounded player. Enjoyed a fantastic season in the minors last year that I think granted him an immediate call-up for 2025. Hit 284. He slashed 379, 488 for an 867, as well as clubbed, I think, 21 home runs. I think he's going to be fantastic for the Chicago Cubs. And the best young player I think that they've had since Chris Bryant. I think he could be up there with KB. I don't think he's ever going to win an MVP, but he's going to be a fantastic player. Matt Shaw finishes third. Finishing second in the voting, I have who is the favorite to win the award, Dylan Cruz of the Washington Nationals. This might be a little bit of a hot take, okay? But I loved what I see from Dylan Cruz. Don't get me wrong. He was the number 2 pick for a reason. He was a fantastic player in the minor leagues last year. Got called up, got a cup of coffee. Wasn't fantastic, but definitely showed flashes. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. And if he won the award, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. But at the same time, I think there's a player that's a little bit better than him when it comes to the voting. And we could see something similar play out like we saw with Jackson Merrill and Paul Skeens. I think I might have just hinted at who I have going number one, but Dylan Cruz is going to be a mainstay for the Nationals in their outfield alongside James Wood for a long time to come. We'll see if they can get him on an extension or something, especially if he has a great rookie season, but Dylan Cruz finishes second in the voting. And finishing first in the voting, is it any surprise? I have Roki Sasaki of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Again, I promise there's no bias here. I know I'm a Dodgers fan, but I mean, can you knock the talent that Roki Sasaki is? He's coming out with a 70 grade fastball, 55 on the slider, 80 on the splitter. Roki Sasaki could be the greatest Japanese player of all time, at least greatest pitcher. Don't mean to knock Ichiro there. Yoshinobu Yamamoto came over last offseason. He was a very hyped up player coming over at age 25. Roki comes over at 23 before his eligibility to get a full-length contract. He comes over as an amateur, but there is no one like Roki Sasaki. When I've seen this guy's dominance in the WBC and all of his starts in the NPB, I love what I see from him. Yoshinobu, he's amazing. He's a fantastic player, could easily contend for a Cy Young for years to come. I think Roki is going to be the most insane pitcher in baseball this upcoming season. I don't think he's going to be Paul Skeens level, but he's going to be up there with him with just sheer dominance. Roki Sasaki wins the Rookie of the Year in 2025. Finishing third in the voting, I have Corbin Burnes of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The man signed a 6-year, $210 million contract this offseason with the Diamondbacks, and he joins a Diamondback squad that disappointed a little bit last year. They finished number one in terms of run scoring value, but finished dead last in pitching run value. And he's going to join a rotation that looks to get just a little bit better, enough to propel them into a wild card spot because, let's face it, they're not beating the Dodgers. They're not taking the West. That's the Dodgers all day. But he joins a solid pitching staff. Honestly, I didn't really realize it until he signed there. The rotation as of now is Burnes, Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Erod, Brandon Pfaadt, and then we'll see what they do with Jordan Montgomery. Obviously, there's been a ton of controversy with the owner speaking out saying that he regrets signing Montgomery to his contract. We love Scott Boras clients. Boras, just why are you the way that you are? Let's be real. But Burnes is going to solidify this pitching staff and propel those Diamondbacks to be a wild card team. I'll release my predictions on records very soon, but they're going to make a wild card spot, and I think Burnes is going to be a big part of it, and he finishes third in the voting. Finishing second in the voting going into his contract year, I have Dylan Cease of the San Diego Padres. This is going to be his second season in San Diego, and he's been nothing but phenomenal, not just for San Diego, but also with the Chicago White Sox. He's going into his contract season, and I think he absolutely shows out for a Padres team that has suffered this offseason with all the front office things going on, losing a ton of players. Cease is going to have to step up and be an absolute guy in that rotation for them. I have heard some trade rumors of him and Michael King kind of being thrown around right now. I think that there's a good odds that he gets traded maybe towards the deadline. Definitely not preseason, but he's been bounced around so far in his career. Starting off really well with the White Sox, ending up with the Padres, enjoying a fantastic age 28 season. He enters his contract year joining this Padres rotation with Michael King, Yu Darvish, Randy Vasquez, and Matt Waldron. That is a weak rotation, especially if they trade Cease or King, but I think there's a great opportunity for them to do that and really replenish their farm system. They used to have one of the best farm systems until they traded for Juan Soto and Dylan Cease and guys like that. They retrade these guys, they build up the farm system again, they get way back up there. But if Dylan Cease stays in the National League, he's gonna finish second in the voting, in my opinion. And winning the Cy Young in the National League, I have Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know this is kind of the trendy answer to have, but oh my God, is this guy dominant? I haven't seen anybody as dominant at as young of an age as he is since, I don't know, Steven Strasburg. I'd say Skeens is even better than Strasburg was as a prospect. He's going to be turning 23 partway through the season. The sad part is he's only like 3 months older than me. That doesn't make me feel good, but he's a fantastic player. Last year, 133 innings pitched in 23 starts, a 1.96 ERA, a 2.44 FIP for a 4.3 WAR. Obviously won the Rookie of the Year last season over Jackson Merrill, who enjoyed a fantastic rookie season. Skeens is gonna be a mainstay on this young Pirates rotation, featuring guys like Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Bailey Falter, and Johan of I can't say his last name. I'm not even going to try. We're buzzing here, buzzing baseball. But Paul Skeens, drafted number 1 overall in 2023, enjoyed a fantastic rookie season. He's going to improve in his sophomore year. I can almost guarantee it. Like I said, it's the trendy answer. I know he's getting a ton of hype. If he went out there, posted a 3+ ERA, and lost it to Dylan Cease, I wouldn't be surprised. But you can't knock his dominance last year. I think he wins the Cy Young in 2025. Kicking off my MVP awards predictions for the National League, finishing third, I have the $760 million man himself, Juan Soto of the New York Mets. I did not want to get sprayed right there. Juan Soto has been a fantastic player in the MLB since he got called up in 2018 at, 19 years old. Last year enjoyed a fantastic season with the New York Yankees, making it all the way to the World Series. He finished third in the voting this year as well, I think. I think his numbers got a little bit inflated because of that short right porch in New York. However, there's no reason for me to doubt his dominance that he's had since he got called up between Washington, San Diego, the Yankees, now with the Mets. I think he continues his dominance. There's a reason he got paid $765 million. I can't even fathom having that amount of money, but he's the highest paid player in sports history for a reason, but it was 1,000% in overpay. Hey, this isn't just a Dodgers fan talking. This is a baseball fan talking here. The only other $700 million man is Shohei Ohtani. What does he do? He hits and he pitches. What does Soto do? He hits. Can't field, can't run, can't pitch. How he gets more money? I don't know. That's just me, though. I think some of his stats take a little bit of a dip off just because he's leaving Yankee Stadium, but I think he's still going to be a fantastic player, and the MLB is going to be shoving this guy down our throats next year, and he finishes third in the MVP voting. Finishing second in the voting, I have Fernando Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres. God, this one pains me to do because, fuck, I hate Tatis. I hate Machado. I hate all those guys. I really do not like the Padres as a Dodgers fan, but Tatis, I can't even knock it. He's such a good player for them. He's going to have to be the guy next year for San Diego, just with how terrible of a season they're probably going to have. I think he excels. Last year, he wasn't fantastic. He was a great player, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't this elite level play that we saw from him in like 2021, whatever year it was, where he finished top 3 in MVP voting, 40+ homers. I'm not going to see that kind of dominance from him, but he's a fantastic young player for San Diego. Again, pains me to say it, but this is a super weak Padres team, and as a Dodgers fan, that brings joy to my heart. We still have plenty of other rivals. San Diego with their little brother. But they just annoy me. They annoy me like your little brother does. He's going to be hitting second in the lineup, probably, in front of Jackson Merrill, maybe behind him. Who knows? But Tatis is going to enjoy a fantastic 2025 season, and he's going to finish second in the voting. Finishing number 1 in the voting in 2025, without a doubt, it's Shohei Ohtani, Mr. 50-50 himself. Last year, he didn't even pitch, and he damn near unanimously won the MVP. I think he repeats his dominance at the plate, but he's going to be pitching next year. And for that reason, there is no doubt that he's going to go out there and win the MVP once again. Last year, played a lot of time leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think he may be bats second or third. I know he was great in the leadoff spot, don't get me wrong, but Mookie Betts has had his most success in the leadoff spot, so I would love to see Shohei bounce down to 2 or 3 for the Dodgers. Of course, opening day, he's not going to be in the rotation. Give it about a month, and he will be back in there. but I think he dominates at the plate and has a decent season as a pitcher. Coming off of Tommy John, the odds are not in his favor, but I think he can still be a very effective pitcher. I'm talking 3+, close to a 4 ERA probably, but the bat is still going to be there. 280, 290 plus. He's going to hit 40 plus homers and win the MVP in the National League for the second time in a row, being his fourth MVP in his career. No Dodger bias. Shohei Ohtani's winning the MVP. That's it. All of my awards predictions are done for 2025. We've done the American League. We've done the National League. It's time for the season to get going now. It's coming up faster than we know it. Spring training starts next week. Pitchers and catchers are going to report next week. Then spring training is going to get going immediately after that. I love what the 2025 season is looking like. Again, this was a beer from Long Beach Brewing Lab called Hops, a West Coast IPA. Again, fantastic beer. But these were my National League award predictions for 2025. Again, no Dodger bias here. These are my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great night.